Chapter 5 of JinPingMei Part 2. Drinking emu medicine and Wu suffered a great disaster. But it was said that Brother Yun walked into the tea house with a basket and cursed at Mrs. Wang, "Old pig, why did you beat me yesterday?" The old woman did not change her old nature, so she jumped up and shouted, "You little hosen! I have nothing to do with you, so why are you scolding me again?" Brother Yun said, "I'm going to scold you, ma bully you, for being the leader of old dog meat." The mother-in-law was furious, grabbed Brother Yun and beat him. Brother Yun shouted, "Hit me," and threw the basket into the street, but the old woman was about to grab him, and when the little monkey yelled, "Hit me," he hit the old woman in the waist, looked at the old woman's belly, and hit her head first. She almost didn't fall down, but hit the wall. The child cannot stand in his way. The monkey was pressed against the wall. I saw Wuda taking off his clothes from outside and striding straight into the tea house. When the woman saw that it was Wuhan University, she came in a hurry. When she was about to go to stop him, she was resisted by the little monkey, who was willing to let go. The mother-in-law only shouted, "Here comes Wuhan University." The woman was in the room with Simon King, so she ran over first and blocked the door. Simon King then got under the bed and hid. Wuda grabbed the front door of the room and pushed the door with his hand, but it could be pushed open. All he said was, "Good job." The woman was holding the door, panicking, and said, "When you are free, you can only use your mouth to show off your fists and sticks, but it is of no use in the short term." "I see, the paper tiger is scared." The woman's words clearly told Simon King to come to Wuhan University and seize the way. Simon King listened to the woman's words under the bed, reminded him of this idea, and then got out and said, "It's not that I don't have this ability. I don't have this wisdom for a while." Then he opened the door and shouted, "Don't come." Wu Da was about to grab him, but Simon Qingzhao kicked him up. Wu Da was a short boy. He was kicking the ball in the center, threw himself to the ground and fell down. Simon King kept walking while playing. Brother Yun saw that the momentum was not good, so he abandoned Wang Po and ran away. Everyone in the neighborhood knows that Simon is awesome. Who dares to take charge? Wang Po helped Wu Da up from the ground. When she saw that he was vomiting blood in his mouth, and his face was turning yellow, she asked the woman to come out and scoop out a bowl of water to revive him. She held him up and back through the back door. "Go upstairs to your home and arrange for him to sleep on the bed." There was no words to say that night. The next day, Simon King found out that nothing was wrong, so he came to Wang's wife's house as before and played with the woman, hoping that Wu Da would die. Wu Da was ill for 5 days and could not afford it. He also needed soup and water, and the woman did not respond when he called her every day. I saw him wearing heavy makeup and going out, and he was blushing when he came back. The little girl Yinger ate the woman again and restrained her from moving forward. She said in fear, "Little bitch, you didn't tell me that if you give him water or food, it's all on you." When Yinger saw the woman saying this, how could he dare to share some soup with Wuhan University? Wu Da was so angry that he fainted several times, but no one came to question him. One day, Wu Da called his wife over and told him, "What you did, I caught you with my own hands and raped you, but you instigated the adulterer and kicked me in the heart. So far, you have been trying to live or die, but you are happy on your own. It's okay for me to die. I can't argue with you, my brother Wuer. You need to know his character. If he comes back sooner or later, will he be willing to rest? If you are willing to take pity on me and help me out early, I will be there when he comes back. Don't mention it. If you don't look after me, he will talk to you when he comes back." After hearing this, the woman didn't reply, but walked over to Mrs. Wang's house and told Mrs. Wang and Simon King everything. After hearing this, Simon King said, as if he was being held in a basin of cold water, "It's bitter. I need to know the head of Wudu who killed the big insect on Jingyang Gang. But now I have been attached to my wife for a long time, and my love is in harmony. It can't be broken apart. According to this, how can you live a good life, but it is miserable?" Wang Po sneered and said, "I have never seen it before. You are the helmsman and I am the punter. I'm not panic." I'm so panicked," Simon King said. "I'm a man in vain. I'm in a place like this. but I can't control it. If you have any ideas, just hide them from us." Wang Po said, "Since I am hiding you, I have a plan. Do you want to be husband and wife for a long time and a husband and wife for a short time?" Simon King said, "Godmother, tell me, how do you want to be a husband and wife for a long time and a husband and wife for a short time?" Wang Po said, "If we were to be a couple for a short period of time, you would be separated today. When General Wu recovered, you could talk to him. When Wu came back, he didn't say anything. When he went out again, he came to meet again. This is a short period of being a couple. If you want to be husband and wife for a long time, stay together every day and not be afraid. I have this clever trick, but it's hard to teach you," Simon King said. "Godmother, after dealing with us, we will be the same, as long as we stay together for a long time, couple." Wang Po said, "This plan uses something that is not available in other people's homes. It is a natural gift, but it is found in the homes of high officials," Simon King said. "You want my eyes? So I will gouge them out for you." "But what are they?" Wang Po said. "Now this troublemaker is seriously ill, so we can take advantage of his embarrassment to attack. Get some arsenic from the official's house." But he asked the eldest lady to redeem a piece of distress medicine, but she put arsenic in it and killed the dwarf. He burned it all with a fire and left no trace. When Wu comes back, what will happen to him? It has been said since ancient times, you must marry your relatives when you are young, and you must marry again by yourself. How can a brother-in-law take care of things behind closed doors? After half a year, he waits for his husband to be full of filial piety, and a high-ranking official marries his wife. This is not a long-term couple, living together until old age. "This plan how?" Simon King said. "My godmother, this plan is very clever. It has been said since ancient times, if you want to save lives and live happily, you must work hard. Let's stop. If you don't do one, you won't stop." Wang Po said, "It's good to know. This is to cut the grass and remove the roots, and the sprouts will not sprout. The high officials will go home and get this thing quickly. I will teach my wife how to do it. When it is over, you will thank me profusely," Simon King said. "This is natural. You don't need to say it. The clouds, love and rain are both prepared, and the love for flowers refuses to end. After all, life is in vain. So why commit suicide?" Not long after Simon King left, he packed a bag of arsenic and handed it to Grandma Wang to collect. The old woman looked at the woman and said, "Madam, I will teach you how to give medicine. Now Wuhan University won't teach you how to save him. You can take advantage of this to show your affection for him. If he asks you for medicine, when he wakes up, mix the arsenic into the heartache medicine. As soon as he wakes up and stirs, you pour the medicine down. If he gets poisonous, his intestines and stomach will burst and he will scream, but you cover him with the quilt and don't make people hear. Hold the corner of the quilt tightly, boil a pot of soup in advance, and boil a rag. When his medicine is given, there will be bleeding in the 7 orifices, and there will be bite marks on the lips. If he died, so you took off the quilt, wiped the boiling rag, and wiped away the blood, then put it in the wood, carried it out and burned it, nothing will happen." The woman said, "It's good, but it's just good. The slave family is too soft-handed, and no corpse can be found in the temporary arrangement." The mother-in-law said, "This is easy to get. You just knock on the wall, and I will come to help you." Simon King said, "Please organize it carefully. I will discuss it tomorrow at the 5th update." After that, he went home. Wang Po twisted the arsenic into fine powder with her hands, handed it to the woman, and hid it. The woman returned upstairs and looked at Wuda, lifeless, looking at her death. The woman sat on the edge of the bed and pretended to cry. "Wu Dao Dao, what are you doing to cry?" The woman wiped her tears and said, "I didn't think that I was cheated by Simon King. Who wants to kick you in the heart? I asked where there is good medicine. I want to redeem it to heal you, but I am afraid that you will be suspicious and dare not get it. Wu Dao Dao, you saved my life. Nothing will happen. Everything is checked." When Wu came home, he didn't mention it. "Go and redeem the medicine and save me." The woman took the copper coins and came to Wang Po. Sitting on the ground at home, I taught Wang Po to redeem the medicine. When he got upstairs, Jiawu University looked at it and said, "The imperial doctor asked you to take this pain medicine in the middle of the night. Then fall asleep, cover yourself with a quilt or two, and sweat a little, so you can get up tomorrow." Wu Dao Dao, "But it's good. Sister-in-law, please stay awake tonight and bring me some food in the middle of the night." The woman said, "You can sleep peacefully. I will support you." Seeing that it was getting dark, the woman lit a lamp in the room, burned a large pot of soup, and took a rag and boiled it in the pot. When listening to the drum watch, it happened to be the third watch. The woman first poured arsenic into the cup, then scooped out a bowl of white soup. She took it upstairs and shouted, "Brother, where is the medicine?" Wu Dao Dao said, "It's under my mat and next to my pillow. Quickly call me, eat." The woman lifted up the mat, shook the medicine into the cup, poured the white soup into the cup, stirred the silver hairpin on her head, and mixed it evenly. She held Wu Da up with her left hand and poured the medicine into her right hand. Wu Da she took a sip and said, "Sister-in-law, this medicine tastes terrible." The woman said, "As long as he can cure the disease, it doesn't matter what it tastes like." When Wu Da took his second sip, the woman poured all the medicine down her throat. The woman put Wu Da down and jumped out of bed in a hurry. Wu Da sighed and said, "Sister-in-law, after taking this medicine, my stomach hurts. Bitter, bitter, it's not a good idea." The woman then went to pull two quilts behind her feet and just covered them with no head or face. Wu Da shouted, "I'm feeling depressed too." The woman said, "The imperial doctor will pay for it. Teach me to sweat with you, and you will be cured quickly." When Wu Da continued to speak, the woman was afraid that he would struggle, so she jumped on the bed, sat on Wu Da's body, and held her hands tightly. Hold down the corners of the quilt and let some slack there. Exactly. The lungs are fried in oil, and the liver and intestines are burned by fire. The pit of my heart is like a knife of frost, and my belly is like a knife of steel. His whole body was cold and blood was flowing from his 7 orifices. With clenched teeth, 3 souls died in vain in the city. With dry throats, 7 souls threw themselves on the terrace of the countryside. There are no poison-eating ghosts in hell, and there are no more traitors in the world. At that time, Wu Da sighed twice, gasped once. His intestines and stomach burst out, and he was so miserable that he couldn't move his body. The woman lifted up the quilt and saw Wu Da gnashing her teeth and bleeding from all her orifices. She was afraid of getting up, so she had to jump out of bed and knock on the wall. Wang Po heard it and coughed after walking through the back door. The woman came downstairs and opened the back door. Wang Po asked, "Is it over?" The woman said, "It's over. It's just that my hands and feet are weak and I can't make arrangements." Wang Po said, "If you have any difficulties, I will help you." The woman rolled up her sleeves, scooped out a bucket of soup, put the rag in it, and carried it upstairs. After rolling up the quilt, he first wiped Wu Da's mouth and lips, wiped away the traces of blood on his 7 orifices, and then covered himself with clothes. The two of them carried it downstairs step by step, and then stopped looking for an old door downstairs. She combed his hair, put on a scarf and clothes, took a pair of shoes and socks and put them on him, covered his face with a piece of white silk, picked a clean quilt from the bed and put it on the dead body. But when she came upstairs and cleaned up, Wang Po turned around and was about to go home. But the woman held and pretended to cry about supporting the family. The judge heard. It turns out that there are 3 types of women crying in the world. Tears with sounds are called crying. Tears without sounds are called weeping. And no tears with sounds are called wailing. At that moment, the woman kept shouting for half the night. At 5 o'clock the next morning, before dawn, Simon King came to ask for a letter. Wang Po said, "Be prepared." Simon King took some money and sent it to Mrs. Wang to buy a coffin, and asked the woman to discuss it. This woman came over and said to Simon King, "My Wuhan University has died today, and I only rely on you to make the decision. I won't be able to do anything until later." Simon King said, "Why do you need to bother with this?" The woman said, "If you lose your heart, what will you say?" Simon King said, If I lose my heart, I will be just like Wuda, Wang Po said. Hi officials, now there's only one thing that matters. I'm going to be buried at dawn, and I'm afraid the widower will see the flaw. What's wrong? Heju, the head of the group, is also a meticulous person. I'm afraid he won't be buried. Simon King smiled and said, It doesn't matter. I'll pay Heju myself, and he doesn't dare to go against my words. Wang Po said, Officials, hurry up and pay him. It's not too late. Simon Qingzi went to tell Heju that he was going. Exactly. Who can wait for the three lights and shadows? Everything has no root and can only rise by itself. The egrets hidden in the snow can only be seen when they fly, and the parrots hidden in the willows can only hear their voices.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.